Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to the Back Four podcast. Today I'm joined by the wonderful
Ben Tiller.
Hey. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of things football related, mainly about the Manchester Derby, the very underwhelming Manchester Derby. 0-0. What are your opinions on that?
I think it was the worst derby to ever happen in my lifetime. Most boring snooze fest ever. I was just waiting for full time, and we couldn't even scrape a goal against the worst United side of all time. And it's utterly embarrassing. As the champions of England currently, it was just purely embarrassing. And to have 0-0 against them, that side, in a derby, it was just uninspiring, to say the least.
It was very embarrassing. And I can say, to be honest, I'm very proud of a 0-0 draw in the Premier League. United have nothing to play for at the moment. There's no Premier League. We can't get relegated. There's no FA Cup, no Carabao Cup. All we've got is the Europa League. So realistically, there's no reason for us to fight for a win. I'm just happy we didn't lose. And at the end of the day, we played very well defensively. And so did City, to be fair. No goals conceded.
Yeah.
For you guys, not the best. But for us, I'm very happy with that result.
Yeah, it's hard when you're still struggling because you're fighting for top four, which I believe should heart me that we will get top four and we'll be back fighting for that big one next season. We'll fight for it, get top four, hopefully, maybe even if we're lucky, top three. That's if we're lucky, if the Forest fall off happens. But yeah, it's just taking it game by game. We're still fighting for things late on in the season. We've got the FA Cup, we've got the Premier League, and but the draw, it could have been worse, could have been a loss, but obviously we don't love 3 points. Yeah.
Just take the point and move on, really, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, like you were saying, same with United. We don't have much to play for in the Premier League, but at the end of the day, we do have the Europa League, which, if we win, would be a really big thing, because although it is the worst season in United history, really, to come out of it with a European trophy would be lovely, really. I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, and it'd get you into the Champions League.
Exactly, yeah, for next season. So that gives us out. That also gives us something to fight for. But Ruben Amorim really thrives in a European football, is what I think. When he beat you guys in the Champions League, Gyökeres hat-trick.
Don't remember it.
I 100% remember that. I'm pretty sure we were on the phone when that happened, yeah. So Ruben Amorim really does thrive in European competitions, and it does show from the fact that we are, as of now, still the only team to go unbeaten in Europe this season, which is very impressive. Thinking about our track record in the Premier League, which is the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's a shambles in the Premier League.
Yeah. No.
Honestly, it's a state. At one point, I swear you was less than 10 points away from being in the relegation spots.
Yeah. Actually, when Arsenal beat Ipswich, that was actually the match that guaranteed our safety, which is absurd to think about, really.
Yeah. And I actually saw a post by TNT Sports which was saying that Man United are safe from relegation. I thought, a club the size of Man United having a massive broadcaster saying they're safe from relegation, you'd think that's the bare minimum, but no, it was an actual possibility this season. And yeah, it's crazy. This world we live in, they've gone from this bad boy to having Anthony.
Yeah. We don't even have him now.
And then you got Paul Garnacho. This guy's better than Garnacho. But yeah.
Anyone's better than Garnacho, but it is quite crazy to think about the FA Cup, the Premier League and the Champions League. We did that, 99, treble 99. What a team, but the fall off is really bad. And as a United fan, it is really aggravating to see City thrive. But this season, they've not been the greatest, so United do have a little bit of room to talk, apart from the fact that we are 15th, which is not the best.
No, not at all. It's really embarrassing.
Literally, but City have the FA Cup coming up.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
How do you think they're going to do?
Hoping for a win. Wembley, we've been there so many times. We've rise to the occasion. I think we've got the experience on our side. We've been there before. These players, I think we've got a flow coming back. We've got injuries are coming back. Manuel Kanji's just come back. I think it's really starting to hit a point where we're starting to play our football a bit better, getting them results. Like Everton was struggling, but we still managed to get the 3 points, which I think quite a while ago it would have been like that. It would have just lost that. So yeah.
Yeah. fair enough. But obviously, right now, Nottingham Forest, I don't know what's happened. Out of nowhere, they've started thriving in the Premier League.
Yeah,
It's
from relegation contenders to top four. It's crazy.
it is crazy.
But I expect our boys to go on Sunday and hopefully get to the final and secure that place in Wembley again
Mhm.
for 7 years in a row at Wembley.
That's mad. And think about it. You are coming off a positive win at Wembley, the Community Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, it was the first Community Shield derby, I believe so.
Yes,
Yeah, it must have been. And
in recent years, yeah.
yeah, and it was a good season starter. You know,
Yeah.
you had players like Oscar Bob, James McAtee appearing in the match. You had an Oscar Bob assist, which was, I can remember, it was a ball across over the top and Bernardo Silva headed it in. It was a promising start to the season, but obviously, you know, it promised so much. But then as soon as Arsenal at home came, we got an injury with Rodri, who got injured with his ACL and just shattered all our hearts really, because from then you just knew
Yeah.
it was a big struggle, because he is just a clockwork to our team.
You can tell really because I've said this multiple times. When Rodri got injured, you could just tell City they weren't flowing as well as they usually were because they didn't have Rodri there in the middle to just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because he made that City team. He linked up the play. It was perfect.
Yeah, he made defence to attack, which was amazing. But I think, you know, when you've got players like Nico Gonzalez, who's slowly coming in, yeah, it's the new signings really what saved our season. I mean, Omar Marmoush, he's come in from, we lost 5 games in a row at Tottenham, and that was a low point. It was the lowest point I've known for a while, and he's just come and he's scored the most goals other than Mo Salah. So yeah, it's a tough season. It's a season of confusion, really. You know?
Yeah, the Premier League's been really unpredictable this season.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because, like you said, City are doing great. United doing terrible. We came, you know, lost to you guys on pens in the Community Shield, beat us in the FA Cup final. Apart from that, I'd say we started off okay, but we just got hit with injury after injury after injury, which has really messed us up. Like the Europa League game against Lyon the other day, we had 2 forwards available, and that was Garnacho and Højlund. Not the 2 guys you'd want up front. We put Harry Maguire up and he scored more goals than both of them in that one game. Scored the winner last minute. Probably one of the greatest Man United games I've seen in a long time. Probably game of the season, really.
It was a great game for the neutral anyway.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Obviously, I'm not a full neutral, but
Yeah.
it was still a great game to watch
Yeah.
as a football enjoyer. You know, obviously when Leon scored, there's like, I've got video of me somewhere cheering, but you know, that's all in the past now.
Yeah, but as you were saying about players that make a big difference, you've got Rodri, Bruno Fernandes. I don't know where we would be without Bruno Fernandes. Honestly,
Down with it.
no, he's literally him and Joshua Zirkzee right now. I'd say the 2 best players in the squad. Joshua Zirkzee is injured now, but you know he had a terrible start. I don't remember the game, but he was getting subbed off and he was being booed off by the fans.
I remember that, and I thought at the time it was shambolic how he treated Joshua Zirkzee, how he came into the club,
Yeah,
a fresh new young signing, and he's getting booed off already. I thought that was
a
a bad demonstration from the fans, but he has really brightened up recently.
Oh yeah,
You know, when he plays, obviously, you know, he can get injured, he can get knocked, but he does provide now more than what he did at the start of the season.
yeah, 100%. Because Amorim did come out and say in a press conference that after he got booed off by the fans, he started like showing up early to training, staying late to training, and to be honest, it really shows when you watch him in the games now compared to how he used to be. You'd never really see him, but now I'd say he's actually a fantastic player. Just give him a bit more time, maybe next season, halfway through the next season. I think he'll be perfect in the Premier League.
Yeah, and he's thriving when his only creator is Bruno Fernandes. You know, that midfield is so dry. You've got Eriksen, you've got Casemiro. He's not going to have much input there, but he is still playing decently well to a good standard. And I think, you know, the comeback from how he was and how he is, it shows great character in his player.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do think he's a good player.
Yeah, of course. But no, especially with the rumoured signing of Matheus Cunha from Wolves, I think that would help us out massively, especially in the midfield.
Yeah, he was.
We could have him, you know, play just behind Xerxes, and when Xerxes comes back, he could go up.
Exactly.
And I reckon there could be some really nice play going on. Maybe a little link up between him and Bruno.
Yeah.
I think that would work out great, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an interesting signing, but would that mean United would play with two cams and a deeper midfielder?
Depends, really, doesn't it? Because seems that might be the way. You never know with Amorim, though.
But would you have to bring in another deep? Would you have Kobe Mainoo there, or because I feel like Kobe Mainoo is more a box-to-box type of
Yeah,
player.
he is.
He loves to get in on a goal, but he's so good at breaking apart a counter attack from an opposing team.
Yeah.
So I think he offers lots, but then it's trying to also maybe have to invest in, say, you get Cunha, maybe get in a second choice midfielder just to play that deeper line and player.
Because we are thinking of getting someone else, but obviously we're not in the greatest place financially either.
Yeah.
Because I've heard we might be paying in instalments for Cunha, which means you can't afford the 62 million up front, it is quite a lot to spend on a player, but I feel like if he does come to the club, he would do very well. And like we were saying about Kobe Mainoo, you know what I mean? It's difficult to see because, like you're saying, he's a good box to box, but we were playing him on left forward against Lyon. And just the way he is with the ball, he's so calm and collected with the ball. His composure for his age is fantastic.
I think he's quite elegant when he's dribbling.
Yeah.
I think I've noticed that, like, because he's not such a large figure in the way, like, he's not like an Akinfenwa where he'll just break apart you. But he's just so delicate on the ball where he keeps possession very well.
Just glides with the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially like his goal against Liverpool.
Yeah.
That was great. And then, well, same with his goal against Lyon. His goal against Lyon was
you can see where he delicately put it. He just curled it in, but he doesn't just smack it, he places it, and it's something you can appreciate in football, even if they're a rival.
He's one of them players where if you watch it, even in slow motion, you can see he takes his time.
Yeah.
Because then he has time to think about what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
But because he's just so well put, so put together when he's on the ball, he doesn't panic about other players running in and tackling him. Because if they come, like you were saying about his dribbling, you can just get past him.
Yeah.
Sensational player, I'd say. He's got lots of potential in the future.
Yeah. Another subject is Kevin De Bruyne leaving in the summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a big miss. It's heartbreaking, really. Such a big player, so many player of the years, so many PFA player of the years, Premier League player of the years. He's such a staple for the club, and I'd say the club's greatest ever player to play for the badge. He's just an icon in the club, and there'll be no one to replace him. But I've heard rumours of Florian Wirtz, and that I've heard that recently he's come out and he said that he's recently been impressed with the efforts Man City have tried to sign him, and I think he could really be that staple to take the crown from Kevin. Obviously, he won't have the impact straight away, but I think, Man City's record signing Bundesliga players, you've seen it with Leroy Sané, Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland, Josko Vardio. I think, we've got such a good relationship with bringing players in from the Bundesliga, so I'm hoping we get Florian Wirtz over the line no matter what. 150 mil, 200 mil, just throw it all. Whatever, you can just throw everything because we need it.
Yeah.
It's such big boots to fill in Kevin De Bruyne.
Like Kevin De Bruyne at Man City right now, especially no Rodri, plays the role of like a Bruno for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a key, vital player.
Yeah.
Like if Bruno announced he was leaving Man United, I don't know what we could do because I don't think there's anyone that could replace him. As you were saying about the Bundesliga, I feel like the Bundesliga, there's a lot of really talented players present there. Think about Mazraoui, brought him in, absolutely sensational for us. I think he's probably one of the best fullbacks we've had in a long time. He's perfect, honestly.
Yeah.
Can do everything, you know what I mean? Same with, I know he's not from the Bundesliga, but another defender we brought in, Lenny Yoro.
Yeah.
I think Lenny Yoro's fantastic. Against Lyon was his best performance yet, I'd say. His ability to just get the ball and just run forward with it is amazing.
Do you think that it's because obviously he came from Ligue 1, and he has played Lyon before? Do you reckon that could be familiarity there?
Definitely. I'd say that 100%. Because obviously it's a team you're familiar with, you know the players because you played against them in the league. So of course we had an advantage with a player like Lenny Yoro there because he's probably played against them multiple times in the league, and it really shows, especially when because Lyon are a fantastic team. Like,
they've got such great players like
Yeah.
Cherky or whatever you say, Fofana, Malik Fofana. They're such good raw players that are like, I think they're a young squad. Obviously, you've got the Lacazette, who's like 34, but
still scoring.
yeah, he still scores, and I think they are a very well put together team, and it was a great show from Man United to be able to beat them, and they showed character. But I just think, if Man City played Lyon, would they end up in that situation where they're having to score 2 last minute goals? It's a United side which is growing and developing, and I'm not trying to diss them, but I think there is still some raw element to the way they play. I think there's some signings and outgoings they need to do, but I think they will get there sooner. I do think Man United will sadly be somewhere positive soon.
I hope so, because as good as the Lyon game was, it was quite shocking before we won. 2-0 up, half time.
Yeah.
Tell me how we ended up being 4-2 down.
And they had a red card and they still scored.
When they had the red card, when they started playing better. Malik Fofana, what a difference he made.
Oh.
He changed the game for Lyon.
Yeah, exactly.
And Cherky, though. Both of them.
Yeah, they're both wonderful talents, honestly.
Quality players, honestly.
I could see them making a big sign this summer. Maybe Fofana stays for another year, because I know he's 18, he's still young, he's still raw. And maybe he's gone on loan to somewhere just to make sure, you get that talent, but you're not committing to somewhere, because he is thriving. But yeah, amazing talent and amazing game for anyone, really.
Yeah. Same with Cherky. I don't think Cherky will stay at Lyon this season.
No.
I feel like in the Europa League, he demonstrated his talent massively. And I do feel like maybe a move to the Premier League, because I've heard a lot of Premier League clubs are interested in him. And I feel like if he was to move, it'd probably be a big move to the Prem.
Yeah.
And whoever gets him would be very lucky, because he is one talented player, very talented.
Yeah, I could see him in like an Aston Villa shirt.
Yeah.
Say if Marcus Rashford doesn't sign a permanent deal with Aston Villa, I could see, they're both great players in the way they take on players, they make things happen, and I could see, a Cherky in an Aston Villa shirt.
Yeah, I do see that, but talk about Marcus Rashford. Honestly, as much as he's doing quite well for Aston Villa, it's just, I don't know if I would want him back at United, because I just feel like he's been there since he was a kid.
Yeah.
There's a picture of him on Google Maps when he's like 10, waiting for the bus to take him to the Cliff, the training ground. He's got some history with United. I'd love to see him back, but he's just not the player he was anymore. But the player that maybe I would want to come back, which probably won't happen, is Jadon Sancho, because Chelsea do have the option to buy him.
Yeah.
I feel like they would buy him, so I'm pretty sure he's got 10 assists for him so far.
Yeah.
8 in the Prem, is it? 2 in Conference League.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
which is very good
Yeah.
compared to what he did when he first signed for United. Everyone was calling him 007 because he had 0 games.
0 assists, 0 goals.
7 games, 0 assists, 0 goals.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It's shocking, really, but I am glad to see them thriving.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
although they weren't great for us, they're
Same
still
with Anthony
United
as well.
Yeah, for Real Betis.
Yeah.
I'd love to have him back.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I think maybe they're thriving because they're away from United, but the good thing about them thriving is that they can now move on and go and say if United want to sell them for more money, now they've thrived somewhere, people can believe in the talent they have, and now United can try and make as much money as possible from them. And that's what I think will happen. I think Marcus Rashford will leave. I think he's got ties cut with United now. I think it's been demonstrated that him and Amram, there's a falling out there. Obviously, he has got a mentality for United. He's lost his love for United. I think deep down, he will always love United, but at the current state of the club, I don't think he's very fond of it right now. You saw it when he was late to training, stuff like that. So yeah,
I 100% agree with you. Like you say, Marcus Rashford leaving. I do think Sancho will leave. As much as I don't want Anthony to leave, he probably might. But at the end of the day, if they do, there's big money to be made there on Anthony, I'd say. But
yeah,
maybe a Garnacho exit in the summer. I could see that happening because he's just not the player he was anymore. He scored a bicycle kick. That's about it. He's not like against Lyon. Everyone's going on about how many chances he created, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, he had easy chances. They were laid out for him, and he still managed to mess up his chances, every single one, apart from when he assisted Agate, which was a fairly good goal. The build up to that goal was fantastic, I'd say.
I think sometimes with Garnacho as well, he he can do too much. I think he'll run,
Yeah.
and he'll try and shoot, and he'll just go into rows edge.
Quite greedy.
Yeah, I think he's a player who plays for him and not for the team
Yeah.
quite a lot of the time. Obviously, that might not be how he feels personally, but I think, when I'm watching him play and watch him play football, I think he's like a Jeremy Doku, but it's the Garnacho show.
Yeah. No, it really is, because I remember when we had Ten Hag, when Garnacho first got called up for Argentina, playing with Messi and all that, got a very big ego on him.
Yeah.
But Erik Ten Hag did the right decision of dropping him, and then he came back a lot better.
It's just making sure the manager keeps his biases aside. He doesn't favourite players.
Yeah.
Because, every club has it, like Man City have it, but Bernardo for some reason we're signing him in the summer. It's been announced, which is sad because he's been a great servant for the club. He's always put his all, even though he's been ruined for leaving back to Benfica for the past 2 seasons. He's been such a great servant and he's really shown his worth for the club. But I think, some players need to be moved on.
Yeah.
And it's the right time, I think, for Garnacho to move on now.
I do. Well, at the end of the day, we just got to see what Amorim decides, what he thinks right.
Yeah.
And let's just hope in the summer Amorim makes good signings, and for you, just hope Pep makes some good signings.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to hope that, but you can.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Foreign Vert, maybe.
that'd be
Astronomical.
a very, I feel like that'd break the news.
Yeah.
Such a talented player.
Yeah, and it would be such a significant signing. It'd be the signing of the summer, in my opinion. It'd break.
I could see that.
And I think it would be our record transfer fee. We'd spend the most, more than Jack Grealish, which was, a lot of money.
How much was Jack Grealish now?
117 million.
You see what I mean, though? We've made some bad signings for quite a lot of money, but that much for a player like Jack Grealish.
How much was it on Anthony?
Okay, I'm afraid that's all we have time for today, guys. I will see you guys in the next episode. Maybe with Ben Tiller.
Yeah.
Most likely, maybe with someone else. You never know. But yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Catch you on the next one.
You'll never stop this thing. I will never let you go.
Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you would like to see in future episodes. Also, follow us on Back4 Podcasts on Spotify and hit the alert button so you can keep up to date with new content.